Welcome to the B2B Marketing Spotlight. I am Lee Oden, CEO of Top Rank Marketing, and joining me today is the wonderful, the amazing, the super smart Tyrone Heath from LinkedIn. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Ty. She is a global lead of the B2B Institute at LinkedIn, where she's responsible for scaling education at LinkedIn Marketing Solutions product globally. And she has over 15 years in the industry. She's previously worked for major brands including IBM, Nestle, and over 7 years at Google. Plus, she's had her own consultancy. Now, on top of all that, Ty is a co-founder of LinkedIn's annual Transform Her conference. She was a contributing author in the recently published books, The Professional Black Woman and The Black Female Leader. And she is author of the book, Marketers of Tomorrow, a step-by-step toolkit for inbound marketing. Check it out on Amazon. Now, one thing you may not know about Ty is that she is a two-time Olympic trials qualifier in track and field for the 800 meters, and more than the 800 meters, I think. Oops. I've actually known Ty for over a year. We serve on an advisory board for an industry association together, and we have many mutual friends and shared interests like B2B marketing, science fiction, and brunch. So welcome, Ty.
Thank you so much for having me, Lee. This is great fun, and I need to hire you to be my personal advocate because that was an amazing introduction. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Oh, yeah, I thought I already was. All right.
Oh,
cool.
You are. Yes, you are.
So, global lead of the B2B Institute at LinkedIn. Tell us about that role and what you're most excited about there.
Yes. So, B2B Institute at LinkedIn. So this is a recognition of work that we've been doing for several months now at LinkedIn, and it's just formalizing that work. And so what we've been doing is working with leading researchers, folks that have been doing amazing work in academia around marketing, and translating those ideas into strategies to help marketers grow. So what excites me the most about that is continuing to take complex ideas and making them simple for marketers in a way that we can all take action on. So super excited about that.
That's awesome. And who doesn't like things simplified, right? Because the world today is not getting simpler. Awesome. So at the upcoming conference here, B2B Forum for Marketing Profs, you're going to be talking about how to combine ABM and social selling on LinkedIn, which I would expect to be a very popular session. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be there in attendance. And social selling is something that has been part of the B2B marketing mix for a while, but ABM has really grown over the last couple of years. I'm wondering, what do you think is driving that growth?
Yeah, so I imagine many folks have been thinking about making account-based marketing a part of a go-to-market strategy, or maybe it's already a part of it. I think the primary reason why that's happening is because buyers expect more. So we've all gotten used to the experience that Amazon and Netflix and other companies have created. We expect more personalized attention. We expect more customization of that content. Mm-hmm. And even though we are in the space of B2B, that message or that experience is translating over from B2C, that expectation of that personalization and that level of knowledge around the buyer's needs. And so I think it's in demand more because customers expect it, and account-based marketing is a way to deliver on it. Also, I would say as marketers, we sort of OD'd on marketing automation. We've been hitting our customers with emails, and it's great when used effectively, right? So it can be very powerful when used effectively, but when not used effectively, it becomes mass alienation. So we really want to be thoughtful about how we do that, and account-based marketing is a way to approach that. The last thing I would say is even on the sales side of things, it's salespeople. We're still doing cold calling. We're still, cycling through sales lists and not necessarily tailoring it to the buyer and what their challenges are. And so social selling is a new way to bring that to life in really plugging into what a customer needs and in the place that they are in their journey. And when you pair that with having a more empowered marketing team that can focus in on the needs of a particular account or buyers within that circle, then that starts to be a more effective approach. So I think it's those three things.
That's great. And I think there's an interesting byproduct of all this in that there's been this need for sales and marketing to be aligned for so many years. And there's so many initiatives to make that happen. And along comes account-based marketing,
Right.
which is pulling people together and having this unified participant or collaborative effort, right? Bringing sales and marketing together in an effective way. Everybody wins, really, even the customer.
That's right. Yeah, I think at the core of a powerful account-based marketing plan, you have a team that is invested in sales and marketing alignment. And frankly, when you think about account-based marketing, it's not even just about sales and marketing. It's about having your entire team oriented to connect with customers wherever they are in their journey, wherever they touch your business, and have them be empowered to make that the best possible experience. But sales and marketing tend to be the two groups within your business that are most oriented towards having those conversations and having those touch points.
One of the, and obviously this, one of the most important steps in ABM, of course, is defining the target accounts and the roles that make up a buying committee, if that's a relevant thing within your target account. So I'm curious, what tips can you share to make that process of identifying those accounts and those individuals less daunting?
Yeah. Well, a couple things. I think first and foremost, we want to make sure that there's even buy-in and your culture is ready for this. So let's start with just making sure that you have an executive stakeholder that is ready to sign off and stand up for this big, what I would call change management shift in the way that you're approaching marketing and sales to take on account-based marketing. LinkedIn is providing a couple different tools to help you do that. One of them is a couple assets under this umbrella called Art of Winning. And so there are some really excellent tips on bringing your sales and marketing teams together and an approach for that. I think the other piece of it that we need to get empowered around is technology. So we want to work more closely with people, but a lot of times the technology products we use, the platforms we use, don't always empower us to do that well. Mm-hmm. So we're speaking different languages, we're using different tools, we want to be friends, but we can't always be friends easily. So the other thing that LinkedIn is really invested in, has been invested in over the past, year plus, is making sure that our technology is helping to bring together the different parts of your business to support that account-based marketing strategy. So on the Sales Navigator side, for example, we have a tool that allows you to map and track different people that are in the buying circle. So as you are going through the sales process along the journey and someone new enters the process, you can actually document that within the Sales Navigator tool. Now, teams that are involved in bringing that process forward can see the different folks within the committee. A sales manager can see what's going on with the deal flow and the people invested on the buyer side and can jump in and support. So that's a way to sort of empower that collaboration that hasn't been available before from a technology standpoint.
Got it.
So that's an example of how LinkedIn is investing in technology to help people manage account-based marketing and, frankly, social selling together more effectively.
Excellent. So I'm curious, what are some of the challenges that brands face when they're just getting started on an ABM and social selling program?
Yeah, absolutely. So I talked about a little piece of this, but I want to dive into this a little bit more. Mm-hmm. So I think number one, not having that senior stakeholder buy-in. Because doing this well actually requires investing in change management for your business. It's a cultural shift for sales and marketing. It means that you need to come together and have common KPIs. You need to have management around the workflow and accountability for each stage of that process. Mm-hmm. You need to meet more regularly as a team. And so if you don't have those different pillars and you don't have a champion within your organization to stand up for it and make sure that it's not just a one-time onboarding path towards having successful ABM, that you have a continuous investment around the customer experience. I also think that the funnel the funnel as we all know it is too basic. It's basic. We need to redefine the funnel and truly get connected to what the customer journey looks like. So it might not be, it really isn't that 4-stage to conversion. Right. It's really looking at, well, here's my business, here's all the folks that work into it. Where do we actually touch the customer? And what does our desired journey look like? Mm-hmm. And when you think about it and you start to optimize what we call the flywheel of that collaboration between sales and marketing, you start to understand what customers are commonly a part of the buying committee. You know what types of thought leadership content drove conversion. You understand what elements of the process were helpful from beginning to end. And you can start to then optimize that strategy and optimize that journey to make it a better experience for the customer.
Excellent. So do you think that, an organization, are there some prerequisites for getting started with ABM and social selling? I mean, do they, it's common thing is like, okay, we have to identify a strategy and a roadmap and all those, identify resources, technology, and all that sort of thing. And, competent marketers know about those things, but do we need to get outside expertise? Do we need to get a sponsor as an executive? I mean, what are some of the prerequisites, I guess, and who needs to be at the table, so to speak, to make it work? And you've touched on a little bit of that already.
Yeah, I would underscore definitely having that executive sponsor, someone who's willing to stand up for that cultural shift, and also, someone to be accountable for it. I mean, a lot of times people ask, well, what organization should own this?
Yeah.
I think oftentimes it's like everybody owns it, but if you don't have an actual owner, then it's like really responsible for this. I tend to think that marketing is the right team to own the process because we have a lot of visibility into, where those different touch points are. And so oftentimes we can help to drive that, but you definitely want to think about having an executive stakeholder. And like you said, a mapped out process with someone being accountable for it actually coming to life, both on the sales and marketing side, because you want to have regular meetings to determine how things are going. The other thing I would say is you want to have strong thought leadership, right? Thought leadership is really at the core of driving your account-based marketing strategy. It's useful for just about every type of marketing you do, both for your demand generation and your branding. So it's a place to begin. Great thought leadership is difficult to produce, but very worthwhile. Yeah. And you want to start there and think about how you can use the thought leadership across the buyer's journey, but also you want to think about how can I empower salespeople around the talk track for that? Because marketing is the engine that's creating the content, but then your entire employee base to be empowered to take that message forward through the account-based marketing piece. You want to be thoughtful about that, and then thoughtful about what are the different questions that you're getting across the buying circle or challenges your customers face that you can answer inside of that thought leadership so you show up credibly.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that warms the market more than increasing trust and credibility through thought leadership. So
absolutely.
Awesome. So what does this look like in action? What does effective ABM look like as we experience it, or maybe have a company as an example?
Yeah, there are a couple companies, and there's a growing number of companies that are investing in this, as we've seen. It's part of a lot of go-to-market plans. One of the companies that we've worked with extensively at LinkedIn is a company called Genesis. They are a omni-channel customer experience solution. They have about 10,000 customers across 100 or so different countries. And so they're growing. And so they were thinking about how can we get more traction both with the current buyers or the current audience that they're looking to target, as well as some future audience. And we want to be thoughtful. That's the other thing I would say with account-based marketing. It's useful when you're thinking about the current audience that you're wanting to deepen those relationships with, but it's also powerful if you understand, like, here are buyers across the category that I'd like to know that we exist and start to work with to open the doors for your sales team. When you think about it, the point, and to use a slang term, it's secure the bag, right? So you want to think about how marketing and sales are working together to make that happen. So Genesis, going back to Genesis, they had, that was exactly what they wanted to do, to establish more traction with current, but also open the door for those salespeople to talk to more companies in the category. So they came up with a list of about 10,000 companies. 1,000 of those companies were already engaged in active conversations with Genesis's sales team. And then there were about 9,000 companies that they wanted to open up conversations with.
Okay.
So they brought their sales and marketing team together and took on this flywheel approach to meeting on a regular basis. They worked with Gartner, and I think it was another powerful thought leadership brand to actually generate joint collaboration thought leadership. And that's what they used as the basis for this campaign.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So again, going back to investing in thought leadership, not easy to create, but there are some powerful partners that you can bring that can help bring that story to life. And so they partnered with these amazing thought leadership firms, and they targeted both the current and their future buyers and learned a lot along the way. I think one of the other things they also learned in the process, because they did layer on some demographic targeting through LinkedIn, is you don't want to niche that down too much, because the point is to really open the door for the full category. So if you're niching down too much, so that was definitely a learning for them in the process. But through the campaign, they were able to increase their traction with both IT professionals and then also customer service leaders. Through the targeted campaign, they exceeded the benchmarks for the campaign on LinkedIn. And so it was a success story for them.
Yeah.
And, I would say, one of their key learnings was certainly the part about meeting regularly to discuss how they were doing against their goals and adjust on the fly and make tweaks to their campaign over time. So you want to be thinking about, like, how do I bake that into the overall approach so that you can learn from your investment in account-based marketing.
It's got to be part of the operation that we're accounting for, that I guess on-demand iteration sort of thing. It's not. This is not set it, forget it stuff.
Not set it, forget it.
Yeah. There's no such thing as automatic anyway, right? It's not automatic-based marketing. In addition to Sales Navigator, which you've talked about a little bit, of course, I'm wondering what kinds of technologies and tools will set brands up for success when it comes to an ABM and social selling effort. What else do they need from a tech standpoint?
Yes, the tech stack.
A tech stack, yeah.
So we have a number of different partners that with from a LinkedIn perspective. I encourage everyone to check out those partners. I'm not going to name.
Sure, or even types of.
But I will broadly talk about things that you need. So the one I will say is both Sales Navigator and LinkedIn Campaign Manager together.
Okay.
So with that, you definitely want to have an advertising, some way for you to actually advertise and reach those customers, which Campaign Manager is a tool to do that. Sales Navigator also helps you nurture those relationships through the social selling aspect of it. So from that aspect, you definitely need the advertising tool. I would also encourage you to identify something that's going to help you with predictive analytics, because it's akin to lead scoring. You definitely want to get a sense of the accounts where you have the most potential, the most propensity to work with you, whether it's now or in the future, to identify and even look-alike accounts. If you had success with this type of account, you probably going to have success with this other type of account. So anything that's going to give you more predictive analytics, both around the accounts and also with buyers within the accounts. So there are a couple tools that you can identify that can help you invest in predictive analytics.
Okay.
I would also say you need a tool for tracking. So the overall management of those accounts, where you are in the pipeline, the communications, and the whole relationship aspect managed of it, that's another piece of the puzzle for you to put together. So those are three elements
Okay.
For you to look into for your tech stack.
And I'm sure there may even be an opportunity for you to talk a little more specifically at B2B Forum, which is coming up really fast, right? I'm curious, what are you, speaking of B2B Forum, what are you looking forward to most about this Marketing Profs Conference? Have you spoken there before?
I have not.
First time?
I'm so excited.
Fantastic.
I'm so excited when I now have this opportunity to speak with folks. And actually, that's what I'm most excited about. I am most excited about meeting people and learning from folks. There's so much amazing content too.
Yeah.
So it's meeting people and actually attending sessions and learning myself. That's what I'm most excited about.
Awesome.
As a first-time goer of the event. It
is a very strong community. There's over 600,000 subscribers to Marketing Profs, so they have this really robust community, and about 1,000 to 1,500 people get together once a year for this event. And so it really is a great coming together of different folks in the B2B marketing community, and it's very different than other B2B conferences as well, which is kind of cool, actually. So.
It's great.
And of course, behind that is the amazing Ann Hanley. The Khaleesi of content, as I like to call her.
That's good.
And I'm curious. So a lot of people, I mean, she's a force of nature, and she's such a positive influence on so many people. She's very easy to like, very easy to love. And I'm wondering, what's one thing that you like or love most about Ann Hanley?
Yeah, I've been following her for so long. That's the thing. I'm one of the subscribers to Marketing Profs, but even before that, even earlier in my career as a marketer, I read Content Rules. I read Everybody Writes. I've been following her for a long time. I think she is truly a pioneer as a woman in the space of B2B marketing. She's been an inspiration for me. I think she's an amazing storyteller. Her ideas are clear. You said one thing, and I'm now giving you a whole host of things.
It's a bouquet. It's a bouquet of things that you love.
All of the things. I am a fan, and I'm excited to hopefully see her and meet her at B2B Forum.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you will, for sure. That's great. So I'm curious, do you have a special project? You've been involved with a variety of projects. I'm wondering, is there a special project or event or anything like that that you would like folks to know about?
Yes. So I've talked a little bit about thought leadership. At LinkedIn, we've been investing in this content franchise called The True Value of Thought Leadership, which I think is a powerful conversation for B2B marketers, because thought leadership is such a versatile tool, both for brand building and lead generation. And so over the past, this is year 3, but 2 years ago, we kicked off some research with Edelman called The True Value of Thought Leadership, where we looked at what is the perception of the value of thought leadership to marketers and buyers. And what we found in that research is that there's a gap, a big gap. So marketers don't think or have not thought that thought leadership is as powerful as it truly is in achieving marketing goals. So for example, the capacity to build trust, the capacity to be able to command a premium with buyers, for example. So buyers say it definitely builds trust, or it definitely commands a higher premium, where marketers are rating it at a lower level. So we are continuing that research, doing some continuity to see if there's any shift in that for year 3. But the other piece of it, Lee, is I'm also interested in how do you translate this conversation into actually how do you create powerful thought leadership? Like, what are some tools we can use to be more consistent in our execution around thought leadership? And then the other conversation is, how can we get more connected to powerful ways to distribute that thought leadership? And that actually touches on some of the things we talked about before, like who in the organization should distribute it? How do we empower folks through employee advocacy? So there are a number of different things for us to dive into there. And I'm incredibly excited about the research to be coming out later this year, and then also move it in early 2020.
Fantastic. Well, I'm looking forward to checking that out. Well, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate that. All the insights that you've shared. And remember, everyone who's tuning in, you can see Ty present how to combine account-based marketing and social selling on LinkedIn at the Marketing Process B2B Forum on Wednesday, October 16th from 4:45 p.m. to 5:30. LinkedIn is the B2B social network, right? So you're really going to want to see this presentation. The bar is high, expectations are appropriately high, and I know Ty's going to knock it out of the park. So thank you again very much, and I look forward to seeing you in DC.